If you're a fan of military thrillers, then the name W.E.B. Griffin is, well, it's legendary. But after he passed away in 2019, it really felt like the story of his iconic presidential agent Charlie Castillo was over. For good. But the series is back. So how do you even begin to continue a story when its creator is gone? Let's dive into this revival, direct action, and see how a new author's picking up the torch. So after years of silence, the New York Times best-selling Presidential Agent series is back with its 10th book. But this isn't just another installment. It's a whole new era. A new author, Jack Stewart, has been handed the monumental task of carrying on Griffin's incredible legacy. No small feat, right? And that is the explosive premise that just kicks this whole thing off. This isn't just about getting revenge for a fallen hero. Nope. This is about a threat aimed right at the heart of American democracy itself. It's a powerful hook that immediately tells you, okay, the stakes are massive, and it signals that this series is back with a vengeance. So what even prompted this revival? Well, it was really born from a double crisis. You've got one happening inside the story and another one in the real world, a tragedy that fans have been grappling with for a few years now. You know, what's so fascinating about this whole setup is the parallel here. The story literally opens with its hero, Charlie Castillo, being taken out of action in a mass shooting. And at the same time, in the real world, the creative genius behind the entire series, W.E.B. Griffin, is no longer with us. So that presents this huge challenge, right? How do you move a story forward when both its hero and its creator are gone? The solution they came up with is a bold one, a complete changing of the guard. The story brings in a new protagonist to take the lead, and a new author with some seriously impressive credentials takes over the writing. Let's take a look at who's stepping into these massive roles.
So on one side, you have the established legend, Charlie Castillo, the OG presidential agent. And on the other, you've got Pick McCoy, a young Marine officer who just has a gut feeling that Castillo's shooting wasn't some random attack. The whole story is really about this handover, with McCoy having to step into some very, very large shoes to uncover a massive conspiracy.
So, who is this author tasked with bringing the series back to life? His name is Jack Stewart, and this right here shows you why he is absolutely the man for the job. I mean, he's not just a writer, he has lived in this world. A 23-year decorated Navy combat pilot, a Top Gun graduate, deployments with Joint Special Operations. This isn't somebody just guessing what this life is like. That real-world experience brings a level of authenticity that is just absolutely crucial for a series like this one. All right, so we've got a new hero and a new author in place. What's the actual mission? Let's break down the plot of Direct Action, without giving away any of the big spoilers, of course. Okay, so it all kicks off with the ambush. Castillo heroically stops a mass shooter, but gets gravely wounded in the process. This brings our new player, Pick McCoy, into the picture. He immediately suspects this wasn't random at all. It was a targeted hit. So he starts his own off-the-books investigation, and the trail he starts to follow, well, it leads to something way bigger, a conspiracy aimed at the very foundations of the U.S. government. Now, here's a really clever narrative choice they made. As McCoy is pushing forward in the present day, the book flashes back to past missions with Castillo and his team. And this is just a brilliant move. It lets new readers totally get up to speed on the legacy and the characters McCoy is fighting for, while at the same time it gives longtime fans those familiar moments and names that they absolutely love. Okay, so that's the setup. But the big question is, does it work? Let's get into the debrief and take a look at the strengths and maybe a few of the potential drawbacks of this new direction. First up, the hits. The realism is a huge, huge plus. You can really feel Stewart's military background in the authentic tactics and the sharp dialogue. The pacing is very modern, very fast, and the plot is deeply relevant, tackling some tough issues like mass shootings and political division. And, like we just talked about, that dual timeline is a fantastic way to welcome new readers so they don't feel lost. All right, now for a few points of caution. First things first, this is not a carbon copy of Griffin's style. If you're a longtime fan, you're going to notice a different narrative voice, a different rhythm. It's more in line with a modern thriller. The plot also leans pretty heavily into contemporary political conflicts, which, might not be for everyone. And finally, while it's definitely accessible to newcomers, you're for sure going to get more out of it if you have some familiarity with the series' history. So, we get to the bottom line. Should you read it? Let's break it down with some clear reading orders to help you decide if this one's for you. Look, you should definitely pick this up if you're already a presidential agent fan who's been eager for the next chapter. If you're into authors like Tom Clancy or Vince Flynn and you love that mix of realistic military action and high-stakes plotting, this is going to be right up your alley. But you might want to pause if you generally try to avoid thrillers with heavy modern political themes, or if you're a completist who feels like you have to start a series from book one. Ultimately, direct action sits at this really fascinating crossroads. It does a great job of honoring the past, but it's also charting a new, much more modern course. And that leaves us with a big question, doesn't it? Does it successfully pass the torch from one generation to the next, or does it decide to forge a new one entirely? The answer, I think, is probably somewhere in between. And for thriller fans, finding out is all part of the mission.